so who am I? My name is John Linville, and I work upstream as the Linux kernel maintainer for wireless LANs. I'm also an employee at another company you might have heard of called Red Hat. I know what you're thinking, and yes, of course, I'm happy to accept your resumes, but please do try to be discreet. All right, so, so this is about pushing patches upstream. Some of you might be aware that outside of the Ubuntu community, but in the greater community, you not always have the best reputation about pushing patches upstream. So this is my little plea or encouragement to hopefully encourage more of that behavior. So why is it important to do that? Well, the number one reason is to preserve your own sanity. Anytime you're carrying patches within your own distribution, you're going to have updates that you want to take from upstream. When you do that, you need to pull the patches. You need to pull the patches forward to the updated version, or you lose the fixes. It creates confusion when it comes to reporting bugs. You deal with upstream. Sometimes the upstream people won't, they don't want to deal with Ubuntu or whatever because you deviated from their code, depending on what sort of patches you're carrying. So it's always the best practice to, for your own sake, to try to stay as close to upstream as possible. I know it's not always practical. In Fedora, we don't always stay exactly on upstream either, but it's a good practice. Excuse me. So distributing the load. Now this is not just about getting help from you for upstream. This is also about getting help from upstream for you. I sort of touched on this a minute ago. You want to be close to upstream just so that the upstream is interested in hearing your bug reports. And of course, you want to be able to give back to upstream in a reasonable amount of effort because you want to keep those projects going so they don't disappear or atrophy. It's just good practice, right? It's good for your business. And of course, just being a better citizen in general. You want to be a good guy, right? You guys have come, you've built a great distribution, you have a lot of users, you've done good work. You should be concerned about giving back. I'm sure you are. This is a good way to do it. Okay. Are we doing this already? Well, not really. Now, I work in the kernel. These numbers that I'm going to show are related to the kernel. Anecdotally, I hear this from other projects. It may or may not be true. These are the only numbers I have. Please view them with a certain amount of humor. I'm not trying to be negative. I want to be your friend. I want us all to work together. Okay? All right. Use a set of tools called getDM, which take Git change logs and are able to attribute or generate certain statistics about who's creating patch sets, not just based on individuals, but they also can collect individual statistics based on employer. I ran these numbers on on the Linux kernel from 2627 up through 2630 RC6, which is pretty current, and looked at the results. And for employer, change sets by employer, normal race number 68. Red Hat is number 2, Novell is number 4. And TouchDriver is a legal corporation in the state of North Carolina, but realistically it is just a vanity domain that I use and a couple of friends of mine. I will take questions in a bit. And so this represents me and one other guy, and the difference between 68 and 72 is actually just one change set. So, clearly you could be doing better. You have a lot of people in the room could be contributing more. All right. So some of this section is mostly relates to the kernel, but I think most of it's true for other upstream projects. Number one thing for dealing with upstream is to keep up with the mailing list. People communicate by email. Some people are on IRC a lot and that sort of thing. The email is the most common. So one reason to keep up with what's going on in the mailing list is because when you hit a problem for the first time for you, perhaps, it's probably not the first time. Somebody else may have already hit the problem. There could be active discussions, and in many cases, Upstream will have already fixed it. So if you're not keeping up, you don't know about the fix, then you're going to spend a lot of time duplicating the fix or just go without it. Upstream reviewers may save your time. So when you post your patches upstream, or even if someone else is posting a patch upstream, a lot of smart people reading the mailing list, taking a look at things. They may be able to, if it's your patch that you're proposing, they may be able to help you make it better. If you're thinking about pulling a patch that someone else has posted, they may save you the trouble of committing a bad patch. So, this is a comment I asked for some input from James Bottomley, who some of you may be aware of. He had a good comment here that you should pay attention to the mailing list all the time so that you figure out who on the mailing list knows what they're talking about and doesn't. You don't want to make a sudden appearance on the mailing list with a question or a problem or whatnot and get that quick answer from the guy who turns out to be a know-nothing or a blowhard or just plain wrong. So it's a good idea to keep up just so you know who the people are, who the players are, and who you should listen to and who you should not. Okay, and particularly in the kernel community, there's more to life than just the Linux kernel mailing list. If you're familiar with the Linux kernel mailing list, it is a fire hose. It is very difficult to keep up with everything on there. There's tons of posts every day. I hate to think what my mailbox looks like since having not checked it since Saturday when I got on the plane. I think most people even admit that they do not actually read LKML, or at least not all of it. They filter it, they use MUT or whatever, and look at the subjects, and they delete most of it, 90%, whatever. Most of the work is done in more specific mailing lists, Linux Wireless, Linux ID, Linux SCSI, yada, yada, yada. There's many of them. Most projects are not as big as Linux kernel, but many of them still have a subdivision within their projects, especially something like OpenOffice, I think. I don't know if they do or not, but I imagine they do. KDE probably does. Some smaller projects, probably not. Anyway, you should be aware of all of this available for what you're looking at. Try to keep up with them, at least browse the topics so you know what's going on. Okay, so hopefully you're going to take this to heart and have patches to post, and you want to do that. Be aware that posting patches in the community can be an exercise in humility. Not all reviewers are good at being, or they don't all have good people skills, shall we say, especially in email. They're not all good at being kind. Many are not interested in being kind. But the point is not to make you feel good, or make them feel good, whatever the point is and generally is, and obviously should be, to get good patches merged. So don't take it personally. We're all interested in excellence. Okay. Particularly, you want to follow best practices when posting your patches. You don't want somebody to reject your patch merely because you haven't described it well enough, or you didn't post it in a format that's acceptable, you used a busted emailer, anything like that. Particularly for the kernel, there's a couple of documents out there that describe what we'd like to see. The one I like is from Jeff Garzik. This is his website. Andrew Morton did one as well that's basically the same, just written differently. Anyway, when you're posting patches for your project, make them look like everybody else's patches. You'll have a lot better time getting them merged. Speaking as a maintainer, dealing with busted email patches is a headache and something I spend far too much time doing. Okay. Now, hopefully your post gets some feedback. Hopefully it just sails right through and somebody says thanks, but quite often your patches will have some problem or another. You'll be unaware of some idiosyncrasy within the project that you violated, something like that. People will respond. You should reformulate your patches, of course, and repost them. And sometimes we need to do this many, many times. Again, this is not personal. We just want you, we want to maintain good quality. And admittedly, sometimes it is a bit of a hazing experience. Sometimes maintainers, if they don't know you, they want to make sure that you're going to listen to feedback and that you're going to keep coming back. So do your best to cooperate. It is, again, it's a bit of a humbling experience, but it's good. It's good to be part of the community, and it helps us All right, so in conclusion, this is pretty much my conclusion. Anybody got any questions? All right, I see a lot. In the back was raising their hand earlier.
Yeah, so your statistics slide, you said that Canonical rated number 68 as an employer. However, you appear to be conflating Canonical with Ubuntu. The two are not the same.
Yeah,
so
Ubuntu had 2 change sets in the bed set.
So is that including Canonical employees and community members?
Well, it's as far as email addresses with the word Ubuntu in them, there were 2 change sets.
Okay, so right, so there's
again, we can go into the details if you'd like. I'm happy to do that. I got the configuration for GitDM came from Greg Carl Hartman, who has gone through a lot of effort to identify contributors. And if you quibble with him, I'm sure he would be happy to take your feedback. He's well, that could be, again, we can discuss the details. The way I see it, it's a big gap between number 2 and number 68 to overcome. Well, if you're by Fedora kernel team, you mean Dave Jones and Chuck Ebert and Kyle McMartin. Yeah, well, okay, but those guys.
It's not going into this rabbit hole, especially on the I think the principle of upstreaming patterns is very, very strong. In our case, we have the dual sort of pathways, one via Debian and one via direct to upstream. So, John, thank you very much for
Yes, please. So if anyone wants to contact me,
So just a really quick announcement before we